Good day. My name is Chris Silviar. I'm a technical solutions architect working for Cisco. A lot of things are happening right now wherein some of us are still in lockdown and still won't be able to go to our office to do our usual business. With this, having a remote control to manage your entire data center becomes important. Imagine with a flick of a finger, you would have the capability to see the entire health of all your servers, network, and storage. With a click of a mouse, you would have the capability to see the health of your virtual machines, orchestrate tasks, and able to support your entire infrastructure. That would be great, right? Let's add something more. What if you can assure the performance of your application automatically using that same platform? What if you can deploy new Kubernetes clusters with that same platform or deploy new data centers immediately? The reason why we're doing this is we are seeing that the application is the new currency. 76% of consumers say their expectations of digital services are actually increasing. And even 50% of customers are willing to pay more for a product or service if its digital experience is better than a competitor. If they cannot find the product that they're looking for at a given time, they'll just go to another competitor. They'll just go to another application. There's this website I encountered in Facebook advertising. It's a pizza delivery website. I clicked on it and was surprised as how easy the website is. From transacting the order, making the orders, each of the stages were actually tracked. And everything was on time. And I did not have to speak to somebody so that they will verify my order or the time it would need for my pizza to come. I certainly would want to order from that again because of the experience that I got. Because where I live, when you do an online order, they would still call you and verify that particular order. They really don't trust their own system. But with that application, I was delighted and would probably always use that application if I have a craving for pizza. That's how applications are doing right now. Trying to get the delight of the customer from their application experience to get their physical goods. And the stakes are high for poor performance. A mere 100 milliseconds of delay of application load time, that's equivalent to 7% drop in customer conversions based on our studies. If that website took longer, my cravings would have disappeared and they lost that conversion. So digital experience, very important right now. And that is what we're trying to maintain, the digital experience. In order for us to get there, we are seeing this methodology to help you on the journey. We need to have visibility, where we can see all the software assets and collect information and telemetry about what's happening in your operation from application to the infrastructure. Then, what we want to do with that information is to use data science techniques to parse all of that information and generate useful and actionable insights that tells us about potential improvements, optimization, or issues that needs to be resolved. Finally, we use this policy-driven automation capability to take action based on these insights. Some may be implemented automatically, and some may require human intervention. It actually just depends upon your policy. But the goal is to move towards a data center that is for completely autonomous, which is the same goal towards what our car manufacturers are making self-driving cars. Surely we can aim for that in our data center. This would go to a continuous feedback in order for a closed loop model to be formed. This model is what we're trying to build in our Intersight platform. Giving visibility, creating insights, and giving actions to give you that self-driving car or remote controlled data center experience. Before we delve deeper in the Intersight platform, let's turn back our time on the evolution of Cisco's data center. We introduced UCS Manager, a management platform that revolutionized how you manage your servers today. There is a concept called service profile, which is the identity of a physical server. That's what we introduced with UCS Manager. And this service profile is, you can move this. You can move this service profile from one blade to another blade, one blade to a rack mount server, or a blade to another chassis. It's a single management of your entire server infrastructure, be it blades or rack mount servers. This was well received by the industry, but we saw This was well received by the industry, but we saw another challenge. The data center is not just comprised of a single location. We need to be able to manage multiple locations as well. Here comes UCS Central, which lets you manage multiple UCS managers as a single entity, able to share information across multiple sites, able now to move service profiles from one site to another site, able to share identities of servers across multiple sites, having a centralized alerts for all your data center, be it on multiple locations. This was well good if it's just UCS inside your data center. But we've seen the rise of converged infrastructure and the clamor for orchestration tools, which is why we introduced UCS Director, a full orchestration tool to deploy your physical infrastructure as well as your virtual machines to be able to have more like a private cloud. But evolution is not stopping there. A new wave of applications are appearing, one which leverages multiple data centers. Not your regional data centers, but data centers on the edge. And data centers even to the cloud. And we're hearing a rise of microservices in the environments right now, containers in the environment. That is the reason why we developed Cisco Intersight, a platform that would enable us to manage multiple data centers, be it anywhere, as long as it has internet connection. Intersight first came into fruition with just able to manage your servers from anywhere. But again, it's not just UCS inside your data center. You're running storage arrays. You're running virtualization, containers, Kubernetes. You're doing your SD-WANs. You have application performance management. What we're trying to do is to get that complete application lifecycle from designing, building, maintaining, and optimization. Will help you maintain your storage array, build your virtual machines, design your containers, and even optimize your applications all within Intersight. Let's look more into the highlights of the Intersight platform on how it would be able to help you manage your data center. One of the features we're giving to our customers is knowing when their contract status would expire. Is your contract active? Is it expiring soon? Or are you not even covered with support? This eliminates the risk to your environment for any untoward incident. Knowing that you can call, knowing that you have somebody to support you if those servers fail, brings a peace of mind to you. This would also help you in your OpEx planning, as you would be able to be reminded that your contract is expiring as well for those particular components. We're also bringing in a connected TAC experience. With connected TAC, we would be able to resolve tickets faster. As soon as the case is opened, we would already have access to the diagnostic data because we are automatically collecting them. And results are automatically gathered so that the TAC engineer would be able to identify the issues and to give you resolutions immediately. This is different from what is being experienced by our customers right now, that they have to upload data on their own before it would be analyzed. which brings delays to the resolution process, since most of the logs are actually large. From experience, we are seeing an average of 28 minutes to diagnose and resolve an issue from case opening, compared to the old process that would take hours to upload the logs to our support team. Since we're already monitoring the logs, we're able to automatically detect issues which can be resolved by RMA. Those tickets are automatically generated, and you would just get an email saying that the parts are on its way and these need to be done. We're also proactively advising our customers regarding security advisories, bug fixes, and the affected devices are actually listed so that you can do the right action, be it to upgrade the firmwares or do the workaround for that particular issues. Another feature which Intersight gives us is hardware compatibility list. This gives you a faster way to check what firmware versions are needed for your current operating system. And even if you're planning to deploy another operating system, we would be able to provide you the drivers and alert you if there is a hardware compatibility problem as well. This would lessen the downtime due to drivers are not compatible to that operating system, or certain firmware versions have not been tested for that OS. You would be sure everything would be running, and these have been tested in our labs. Since we know we are not always tied with our laptops and our offices, we've also created another way to access the platform through our mobile application. It gives you the visibility on the go for your entire data center and able to create attack cases to achieve a faster time to resolve these alerts. And you'll be able to get your security alerts, security advisories, all in the palm of your hands. We know that it's not just Cisco inside your data center or your on-premise environment. We have Intersight appliance. We've also introduced an appliance for the on-premise environment, which enables us to manage third-party devices, which we call Intersight Assist. This now opens up the possibility to connect non-Cisco devices to Intersight. For Cisco products like UCS, HyperFlex, and UCS directors, you can connect directly to Intersight. While for third-party devices like VMware or Pure Storage Arrays, we can be claimed locally by Intersight Assist, and then Intersight Assist will be the one to connect to Intersight. There are device connectors running inside this particular virtual machine, and it actually communicates via third-party APIs through these devices. We're starting only with Pure and VMware today, but there are more third-party devices to come. Also, it doesn't replace your existing tools. You can still manage your devices the same way you're managing it before, but we give you another way to manage it all remotely without VPN. With that, I'll show you a demo of Intersight and how we can manage third-party devices like Pure Storage and VMware. Give you an overview of what Intersight is. But Intersight is not just an inventory of physical servers. We're actually able to give you tools so that you can manage these particular servers as if you are on site. So there's action buttons here. We can actually launch your UCS manager, your KVMs, and even open attack cases. So let's click on Launch UCS Manager, and it will open up a new tab to launch my UCS Manager. As you can see, once I click Launch the UCS Manager for that particular server, it opened up which server it belongs to, what chassis, and I have full control already on my UCS Manager without even connecting to a VPN. I now have access remotely to all my UCS managers. So let's go back to Intersight. With Intersight, we are given the dashboards, which gives us a summary of the health of the entire data center. It breaks down the components of the data centers from the servers, HyperFlex, Fabric interconnects, gives us the number, at least as inventory. How many are my servers? How many are my Hyperflex clusters? How many fabric interconnects am I managing? Also gives us at least a summary of the number of alerts that are being encountered on that particular component. When we click on the server health summary, we're able to be given an inventory of all my physical servers. We're seeing the names of my servers, the health of my servers, and why is it critical. For example, on this one, if I hover it to the critical alert, I'm able to see that some of my virtual interfaces are actually down. Am I covered by contracts? Which UCS manager am I connected to? What is that particular model of my server? What is the capacity of my CPU and memory? And what is the domain name of my infrastructure? As well as the firmware versions. This is actually listing all the servers that you have in your data center environment. Let's look at creating a new virtual machine from Intersight and how does the orchestration piece work. So let's click on the new virtual machine tasks. And it opens to me the task workflow. So from a start button, I'm able to do this particular task, deploy virtual machine from OVA or OVF. And then I want to confirm as well after deploying that it has been successfully been deployed. So how do we do this? So let's click on execute. Let's click on the organization name. The hypervisor manager. The image URL. Let's put in the virtual machine name as well. What data center does it need to be deployed? What cluster? What host do I want to deploy this particular server? Since it's in a flash stack, I'll name it flash stack. I'll select the flash stack server host. And which data store do I want to deploy it? Okay. If I want to power on or power off or after it's being deployed, I'll click on this one as well. And let's click on execute. This will now create the tasks that needs to be done from the inputs we've placed. And now it's deploying the virtual machine. Let's verify it by going to the vSphere. And it's now you see here that I'm able to deploy the OVF template already. And it's now going to be downloading that particular image to that particular host to be able to create this virtual machine. So I didn't patch anything on the vCenter. I was able to deploy a whole virtual machine just from Intersight. And I have access to my virtualization and my pure storage array. I can do some actions as well on these devices, even if it's third party. I can do my orchestration to the storage arrays and even to the virtual machines. So let's go to the orchestration tab. And let's go to the storage tab. The storage tab gives me an inventory of the storage arrays being managed by Intersight. From this example, I'm able to see my pure storage arrays, what version, what models of my array, at least a summary of the capacities as well, and data reduction, and how much has been provisioned already for that particular array. Let's click on one of the arrays. And we're seeing a graphical interface of the capacity breakdown. How much has been allocated, how much has been provisioned, how much has been used already, how much is being shared. So I'm also be able to be given how many servers are connected to that particular array, how many host groups, as well as the number of volumes that being served by this particular array. Let's get into the inventory tab. And I'm able to see the host names of the servers that are connected to this one, and how much capacity have been provisioned for that particular host groups. On a volumes tab perspective, I'm able to see all the volumes that have been presented and being provisioned to that particular servers. When was it even created? I'm able to see it as well. I'm also able to see the controllers of my storage as arrays. Which one is my primary, which one is my secondary, what are the serial numbers. And this is also the same if I click on my drives. I'm able to see the status, the name of the slot, and even the type of the hard drives and the capacity, as well as the ports, wherein I'm able to see what is my worldwide names, what speed do I have, and what is the interfaces, what is the status of that particular port. And now we have completed the deployment of that particular virtual machine. I'm showing you the vCenter so that we would have verification that it has been completely deployed. Let's go to the Intersight page, and we've seen that that particular task has been successful. So we're now able to manage this or look into this particular virtual machine, open the console, and able to have this particular virtual machine on Ubuntu. And now let's go to the virtualization tab. From the virtualization tab, it lists me the number of data centers on VMware perspective. I'm able to see how many data stores are in these particular data center, how many networks, how many clusters, how many hosts, and how many virtual machines, and which vCenter is actually managing that particular data center. So let's go to the clusters tab. I will have the capability now to see the total capacity of my clusters, of my VMware clusters. So from a CPU utilization to a memory utilization. Are these healthy for my data center? Do I need to get more resources for this particular cluster? Do I need to add more hosts? And if I look into the host tab as well, I now have the CPU utilization and memory utilization on a per server perspective. Which cluster does it belong to? From a virtual machines perspective as well, I'm able to see the names of the virtual machines, the guest operating system, which data center, which cluster does it belong to, and which host is it sitting on, and the CPU and memory utilizations of that particular host. So if I click on moving forward, I'm able to see some of my virtual machines here. What's the current CPU utilization and memory utilization? So this gives you an overview of the total virtual machines, the total health of your VMware on a resource perspective, and even on the data stores as well, wherein I'm able to list all the data stores, and the storage utilization as well is being posted here. So I'll be able to have alerts already. Hey, one of my data stores is already at 96%. I need to expand that particular data store. So let's look away in terms of how do we now create new workflows from this. So let's just click create new workflow. And it will open up a workflow designer. You have here different tasks, be it on virtualization or storage. So what if we want to add a particular host to a storage group? Okay, so let's click on add host to a storage group. Okay, let's drag it from start. That will be our first task, add host to a storage host group. Then let's expand a storage volume. There. So it's easy to add particular tasks, and you can now have a mix and match of storage task and a virtualization task to complete that workflow that you want. That I would want to add a particular host to the storage that would house a new virtual machine, and it will be residing in this particular data store. So you can now have that in a single click of a button, create these workflows, and able to manage this without even connecting to your VPNs, or even connecting to your storage array, or even connecting to your vCenter, within Intersight, you're able to do these particular storage tasks, particular virtual machine tasks, and even create workflows from this particular tab. Aside from the features we've talked about, there's also lots of changes. We're also launching lots of exciting things to cope up with the changing times of the data center. One of this is HyperFlex Application Platform. The HyperFlex Application Platform is a container platform based on our hyperconverged infrastructure without any third-party hypervisor. This gives you the clustered storage services, as well as the clustered compute services, which can support containers for today, and also future applications like virtual desktops, virtual machines. This platform enables you to be agile and gives your DevOps the tools needed for them to be focused for increased code release and velocity. This is all managed through Intersight, from configuration, deployment, monitoring, supporting, and maintaining your Kubernetes clusters. The Intersight platform is able to manage from the physical infrastructure on the server side and the platform itself, as well as the Kubernetes cluster, which gives you a central management for the entire data center. Not just the infrastructure, but even the container clusters as well. We've also introduced Intersight Workload Optimizer, which is an application resource manager that has the capability to supply the resources to the applications. It would give performance assurance, optimization, risk avoidance for the entire workload, be it on-prem or even on the cloud, be it on UCS or be it on third-party devices. This would give you a view of your entire infrastructure that supports rich application from virtual machines down to the physical compute and storage layer as well. And even if it's in the cloud infrastructure, if you have AWS or Azure or GCP. In summary, Intersight is not just for your UCS. We're able to give you that full life cycle from design, building, optimization, and support to the various devices inside your data center, from your physical infrastructure to virtual machines and containers, and even give you application assurance and SD-WAN connectivities. And it's all been deployed and being managed by Intersight. If you want to know more, and if you have UCS in your environment, I urge you to just log into intersight.com and create your account and then claim those devices, because Intersight Base Edition is free. You can go to this particular website to know more of these things. Thank you for your time.